So when we're solving simultaneous equations, we're looking to find a set of coordinates, usually two sets, okay, that are consistent for both equations. So in other words, the x and y values work for both equations, okay. So in that case then, the y values will be the same, the x values will be the same. So what I'm going to call this equation 1 and call this equation 2. And if the y values are the same, for instance, then I can say that this y value here is simply equal to the y value in equation 1, okay. So in other words, the y here is equal to that, okay, and the same here with this y, it's equal to that, okay. So what I can do, because this is set up nicely, y equals, I can say, look, substitute equation 1 into equation 2. Okay, so if we look at equation 2, I'll start off with 4x squared, so keep that as it is. But with the next term, 2xy, I'll write the 2x, but y I can replace with what y is actually equal to here, which is 2x minus y. So I'll use a square bracket just to clarify that that's the y there, which I'm substituting in. Okay, and there's already a bracket in there, isn't it? So we take our time on that. Plus then y squared. So again, I'm going to substitute what y is, but I've got to square it. Okay, so again, another square bracket to show that I'm going to square the whole thing, and then that equals to 12. So it looks horrible, but actually when you simplify it down now, it'll become straightforward. So I've got 4x squared here to begin with. Now with regards to this, it's up to you how much time you take on it, okay? But just be careful. Now what I would do here, I would times the numbers first. So 2 times 2 is 4, and then maybe just keep it like that for the first line, okay? So just multiply those numbers there, and I'm left then with, so 2 times 2 is 4, I've got the x and the bracket x minus 1. I can get rid of the square bracket then, so I can just leave it like that. With this one here, you've got to remember, you've got to square everything, okay? So square each term here, so square the 2, so we get 4, and then we square the bracket, so we get that, okay? And then that's equal to 12. So on the next line, we'll have 4x squared. Now let's expand this, okay? So we're going to multiply through there. So it'll be minus, of course, 4x times x, which is minus 4x squared. Straight away, then you'll see that these cancel, don't they? Okay, comes to 0. And then you've got minus 4x times minus 1. So that's a plus 4x here. Be careful there, because minus times a minus is a plus. This here, so we've got to do FOIL on this bracket here, this bracket squared. So maybe you want to write it out twice. So we end up then having 4x. So here then, what I'll do, I'll multiply out the pair bracket, keep the 4 out to begin with. So I'll just do FOIL on this. So first is x squared, outers is minus x, inners is also minus x, so that'll be minus 2x when I combine them, yeah? Minus x is minus 2x. And last then, don't forget, minus times a minus is plus 1. That equals to 12. Let's then expand that bracket, so we get 4x plus 4x squared minus 8x plus 4 equals 12. So times everything through by 4. So then I get 4x squared. 4x take away 8x is minus 4x. Plus 4, if I take that 12 over, it becomes a minus 12. So it'll be 4 minus 12 is minus 8 equals 0. Now we've got a quadratic which we can factorize and solve. However, before I do that, you notice 4, yeah, is a common factor, so we can divide by 4. If I divide by 4, I'll get x squared minus x minus 2 equals 0. Okay, dividing each term by 2. And this can be easily then factorized. So we've got to think of a pair of numbers that multiply here to give minus 2. Well, it's got to 2 and 1 of the numbers. We just got to decide on the signs now. Well, I need to make them to be add them up to give minus x. So we'll have a minus 2 there plus 1, because minus 2 plus 1 gives you minus x. All you've got to do then to get x is, of course, because they're equal to 0, either the first one 0 or the second one 0. So x plus 1 is 0, which means x is minus 1. X minus 2 is 0, which means x is 2. We're not quite done because we've got to work out what y is. So remember, we'll sub it in there, sub it back into 1. Okay. So in this case here, y will equal to 2. Well, x is minus 1. So we get, that would be minus 4. So my set of solutions there will be minus 1, minus 4. And then when x is 2, you sub that into 1. So we get then just 2, isn't it? Okay, so x is 2, y is 2. Job done.